Alright, so in this problem, I have 25 to the power of x minus 15 to the power of x is equal to 9 to the power of x. So I'm going to first start by dividing all my terms here with 9 to the power of x. So now I have 25 over 9 to the power of x minus 15 over 9 to the power of x is equal to 1. 9 to the power of x over 9 to the power of x is equal to 1. Now I'm going to rewrite 25 over 9 as 5 squared over 3 squared to the power of x minus 15 over 9. That's just simply equal to 5 over 3 to the power of x, and this is equal to 1. Now 5 squared over 3 squared, that's equal to 5 over 3 squared. So I have 5 over 3 squared to the power of x minus 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of n to the power of m. So 5 over 3 to the power of 2 to the power of x, that's going to equal 5 over 3 to the power of x to the power of 2. Now I have this minus 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1. Now I'm going to let 5 over 3 to the power of x equal to the variable y. So now I have y squared minus y is equal to 1. And if I subtract 1 on both sides, these two cancel out, and I get y squared minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. So now to solve this, I can use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, a is 1, b is negative 1, and c is negative 1. So I have negative of negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times negative 1. And this is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 4 over negative 2, which is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over negative 2. I'm sorry, this will actually be just a regular 2. So now that I have my value for y, remember how I said 5 over 3 to the power of x equals y. So now I have 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. So now if I take the log on both sides, I get log 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to log 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. And now I can move x to the front. So now I have x times log 5 over 3. If I divide both sides by log 5 over 3, I get log 1 plus or minus square root of 5 over 2 over log 5 over 3. Alright, so in this problem, I have 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x is equal to 512. So I'm going to first start by factoring out 4 to the power of x. So now I have 4 to the power of x times 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 512. Now if I simplify what's in the parentheses, I get 4 times 4 to the power of x is equal to 512. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times a to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m plus n. So 4 times 4 to the power of x, well 4 is the same thing as 4 to the power of 1. So 4 to the power of 1 times 4 to the power of x, that's going to equal 4 to the power of x plus 1, and this is equal to 512. Now, 4, this is the same thing as 2 squared. So I have 2 squared to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 512, which is the same thing as 2 to the power of 9. And if I have something from a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So 2 to the power of 2 to the power of x plus 1 is going to equal 2 to the power of 2 times x plus 1. And 2 times x plus 1, I can simply distribute the 2, so I get 2 to the power of 2x plus 2 is equal to 2 to the power of 9. Now if I have something in the form a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n, this means that m is equal to n. So in this case, 2x plus 2 is equal to 9. Now if I subtract 2 on both sides, I get 2x is equal to 9 minus 2, which is 7. And if I divide both sides by 2, I get x is equal to 7 over 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and check if this is right. So to check, my original equation was 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x plus 4 to the power of x is equal to 512. Now if I plug in 7 over 2, I get 4 to the power of 7 over 2 plus 4 to the power of 7 over 2 plus 4 to the power of 7 over 2 plus 4 to the power of 7 over 2 is equal to 512. Now 4 is the same thing as 2 squared, so I have 2 squared to the power of 7 over 2 4 times is equal to 512. And these two cancel out, so now I have 4 times 2 to the power of 7 is equal to 512. And 2 to the power of 7 is 128, so I have 4 to the power of 128 is equal to 512. And 4 to the power of 128 is 512. So I have 512 is equal to 512. And because this is right, my solution here is right. Alright, so in this problem, I have 2 to the power of 3x plus 2 to the power of x is equal to 10. So to solve this, first off, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is the same thing as a to the power of m to the power of n. So 2 to the power of 3x I can rewrite as 2 to the power of x to the power of 3. So I have this plus 2 to the power of x is equal to 10. Now I'm going to let 2 to the power of x equal to the variable y. So I have y to the power of 3 plus y is equal to 10. Now if I subtract 10 on both sides, these two cancel out, and I get y to the power of 3 plus y minus 10 is equal to 0. Now I can rewrite y as 5y minus 4y. So I have this minus 10 is equal to 0. And now I'm going to switch these places and switch the order, sorry. So now I have y to the power of 3 minus 4y plus 5y minus 10 is equal to 0. Now from here, from y to the power of 3 minus 4y, I'm going to factor out y. So I get y times y squared minus 4 plus from 5y minus 10, I'm going to factor out 5. So I'll get 5 times y minus 2 is equal to 0. Now y squared minus 4, that's the same thing as y plus 2 times y minus 2. Now I have this plus 5 times y minus 2 is equal to 0. And now if I factor out y minus 2 from this, I get y minus 2 times y plus 2 plus 5. This is equal to 0. Now this is the same thing as y minus 2 times y squared plus 2y plus 5 is equal to 0. So now this is going to give me two equations. I get y minus 2 is equal to 0, and y squared plus 2y plus 5 is equal to 0. So for y minus 2 equals 0, y is equal to 2, obviously. And for y squared plus 2y plus 5 equals 0, we are going to use the quadratic formula. And I'm actually not going to waste your guys' time by plugging everything in and solving it. But if you do end up doing it, you get that there is no solution because it's going to be the square root of a negative number. So y equals 2 is my only solution for y. Now remember how we set 2 to the power of x equal to y. So now I have 2 to the power of x is equal to 2, and 2 to the power of what is equal to itself? 1. So my solution is x equals 1.